Sunak or Truss to become the Prime Minister after Mordaunt is eliminated from the race. Britain's next Prime Minister will either be Rishi Sunak or Liz Truss. It has been confirmed after Penny Mordaunt was eliminated from the Tory leadership race. Grab all the analysis on the political race and all you need to know. Also on the programme tonight, no place for a lawbreaker. Johnson roundly attacked in final PMQs. Johnson has been told number 10 is no place for a lawbreaker in his final PMQs before handing over to either Rishi Sunak, Penny Mordaunt or Liz Truss. And blazes a wake-up call on climate change. Firefighters warn after record heat. A new record for the hottest day ever seen of 40.3 Celsius was provisionally recorded in Coningsby in Lincolnshire on Tuesday afternoon.
This is STV News at 6:30 with Chris Ship and Nina Hussain.
Good evening. Rishi Sunak or Liz Truss is to become the next minister after Penny Mordaunt is eliminated from the Tory leadership race. Former Chancellor Rishi Sunak was given support by 137 of his Tory colleagues and Miss Truss received 113 votes, but Miss Mordaunt dropped out after only 105 Conservative MPs backed her. The two finalists now have over a month of campaigning to Tory party members before the winner is announced on September the 5th. Search for Boris Johnson's successor is nearing its end, as our deputy political editor Anushka Astana reports.
Conservative MPs have had their say, and now this is the choice for the next Prime Minister.
I'm Liz Truss.
I'm Rishi Sunak.
I've delivered dozens of trade deals.
I'm proud of my record.
We need to cut taxes.
Something for nothing economics.
This was the result MPs were most excited to hear, and it was pretty close.
The numbers of votes cast for each candidate is as follows. Mordaunt, 105. Sunak, 137. Truss, 113.
That result sets us up for a bitter political clash this summer. She's already accused him of driving us to the edge of recession. He says her ideas are socialist. Be straight with us. Do you regret the blue-on-blue attacks, and will they stop?
What we've seen is actually a debate about ideas, which is very healthy, and it's good for us to debate ideas to make sure that we get the policies right for the country. But crucially, for our members, I am also the person who can beat Keir Starmer in the next election, and that should be uppermost in their minds.
Claiming he can beat Labour. He said it more than once, and it's clearly going to be central to Rishi Sunak's campaign. But guess who thinks it too?
What I believe is that lowering taxes, opening up opportunities is going to help us deliver the economic growth that Britain needs, and it's also going to help deliver us the next election. I can win against Keir Starmer.
It wasn't all smiles. There was heartache for the Penny Mordaunt for PM campaign.
I'm obviously gutted, we all are, but equally I think we've done something in this campaign that's quite important. We may have not got through to the last two, but I think we've lit a flame for a model of Conservative politics that is unifying.
But before Tory members speed towards a new PM, they say goodbye to this unique one. Boris Johnson with this advice for his successor at his final PMQs.
Number one, stay close to the Americans, stick up for the Ukrainians, cut taxes and deregulate wherever you can.
There was a little dig.
I love the Treasury, but remember that if we'd always listened to the Treasury, we wouldn't have built the M25 or the Channel Tunnel.
A warning.
Focus on the road ahead, but always remember to check the rear view mirror.
And a goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby. Thank you.
Until next time, eh? It ended with warm applause from most but not all Conservatives. Look closely and you'll see Theresa May isn't clapping the man who some say brought her premiership down. Now to the next leader, Anushka Astana, ITV News.
Now linking on that PMQ is the result of Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak now being the final two. Boris Johnson has been told number 10 is no place for lawbreakers in his final Prime Minister's questions before handing power over to the Rishi Sunak or Liz Truss. The outgoing PM's record in Downing Street was roundly attacked by leaders of the SNP, Lib Dems and Labour, so Keir Starmer repeatedly used criticisms of the government made by Tory leadership hopefuls in TV debates to condemn Mr Johnson. They organised the TV debates because they thought it would be a great chance for the public to hear from the candidates firsthand. Then disaster struck because the public actually heard from the candidates firsthand, so Keir said. The Sky News debate, scheduled for Tuesday, was cancelled after two of the contestants' front-runners, Ms Truss and Mr Sunak, pulled out. Asked why that had happened, Mr Johnson claimed he had not been following this thing particularly closely, but said whoever won it would wipe the floor with Sir Keir, like some household detergent. Sir Keir, acknowledging it would be his final chance to grill Mr Johnson at PMQ, said the relationship between the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition was never easy. This one has proved no exception to the rule, he added. A number of the MP's remarks will raise questions as to whether he's planning a comeback, despite saying at the start of PMQs that it would certainly be his last. Concluding the session, Mr Johnson bid farewell, saying it was a mission largely accomplished for now, and hasta la vista, baby. Asked about the comments, his press secretary did not explicitly deny he may be planning a return to Downing Street, as she replied that was his way of saying farewell to his colleagues. Mr Johnson will remain Prime Minister until September the 5th, when his replacement is announced. However, it will be his last PMQs because PMs break up for their summer recess on Thursday, and when they return there will be a new Tory leader. Opposition parties have been demanding Mr Johnson leave Downing Street sooner and install a caretaker PM, but the current leader has refused. Liberal Democrats leader Ed Davey urged the Tory party to call a general election as soon as possible, while SM Westminster leader Ian Blackford thanked Mr Johnson for driving support for the Scottish independence to new heights with his leadership of the UK. Citing the Partygate scandal, which saw dozens of government staff fined for breaking COVID laws, Mr Blackford said the Prime Minister has been shameful and disgraceful. He added, "Let us not forget the Prime Minister is still under investigation because he can't be trusted to tell the truth. Shameful, disgraceful and a complete waste of Scotland's time. This is how the people of Scotland will remember this Prime Minister. Isn't it the case that the Prime Minister and his government should have had his last say a long time ago? Quite simply, Downing Street is no place for a lawbreaker." Mr Johnson replied, "The personal abuse stuff, I think he is talking a lot of tosh when he is retired to his crot, which may be all too soon. I hope he will reflect on his long-running campaign to break up the greatest country in the world." Okie dokie, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have more stories after the break. Do not go away. See you in a moment. Hello, welcome back. Blazes, a wake-up call on climate change. Firefighters warn after the record heat. The outbreak of hundreds of fires amid record temperatures have been labelled a wake-up call on climate change as the UK counts the costs of the heatwave. As temperatures climbed over 40 Celsius for the first time ever on Tuesday, major fire incidents were declared in London, Norfolk, Suffolk, Lincolnshire, Leicestershire and South Yorkshire amid the tinder-dry conditions. Correspondent Sajal Carrier reports on the individuals who lost everything amid the wildfires.
It is a scene of utter devastation. Home after smouldering home lying in ruins. In the midst of the scorched landscape surrounding Wellington. Possessions lost, lives that will never be the same again. Among this row on the left is number 17, where Carol Hager had lived for almost 58 years, raising her two sons. Now, gone.
Within seconds, well, minutes, it was coming round towards us, and it was out at the back of the old schoolhouse. And their tree all went up and their shed went up and everything. And when number 20's fence started going, we just grabbed our things and just came straight out. I'm devastated, absolutely devastated, because our life is there and you keep thinking, oh, I won't see that anymore, I haven't got that. And that's when it hits home.
Tinder dry land and scorched earth 200 miles north in Barnsley, and the same devastating result. Taking just minutes for entire houses to be gutted. People escaped with their lives, but lost everything else.
Privet were on fire and it was spreading over here. So I got hose pipe in here because it's dry grass. Hose in me somewhere else there, and I was just trying my best.
In Maltby, a fire tore through a row of 8 terraced houses. The speed and severity of the wildfires meant South Yorkshire struggled, like the capital, and declared a major incident.
There wasn't any additional resource practically anywhere in the country. And we need to really start looking at that moving forward in terms of whether or not local services are resourced to the changing levels of risk that we experienced yesterday, especially if that's not the only time that we're going to experience such a high level surge in our demand due to the extreme temperatures that we're starting to see.
These fires will be seared into the memory of those who now have to rebuild their lives. And while the flames are now extinguished, the danger isn't over. The heat still poses further risks. Alongside those risks, a warning from government that we must all now learn to live with such extreme events caused by climate change. And leaders of fire services across the country also say that they must now think very carefully about how the country can be better prepared in the future.
Our reporter Sangeeta Lau reporting there on the extreme temperatures. And that is it for now. Alistair Stewart and Mary Nightingale will be here with news at 10 at the later time of 10 past 10. But from me and Nina, hasta la vista, baby. Good night.